You know, I mean, we're not immune to that. So having a baseline of information that everyone will have to then report on, I think will bring about more transparency.
Right.
That's what I'm seeing in the immediate future.
Exactly.
I did want to touch on something else, because the both of you were saying some really cool things that I wanted to touch on, and just as it relates to trends. High level, couple things that are happening, right? Significant inflows into all things ESG, impact, sustainability, whatever you want to call it. People are investing in this stuff a lot, right? Like I was reading something the other day that said the market's like something like $4 trillion right now. Fine. Also, wealth is now starting to be transferred to the younger generation, right? Younger generation, generally speaking, cares more about, you know, their planet, cares more about ESG. If investors like myself, investment banks, asset managers, whatever, if they want to have access to this capital, they need to then start shifting how they are viewing their investments, and they have to make these types of products available, right? Something else, you know, as part of, you know, this regulation and disclosure, which has primarily been focused on the E side of the equation, now a lot of the S side of this stuff is now starting to, you know, come to the forefront. And, you know, part of when I think of investments that I'm making, right, I try to think about how the investments that we make will affect the immediate population surrounding whatever investment it is that we make. Like I'll give you an example, because it literally just happened like last month. So I have this fund that I'm managing, and it is not a social impact fund. It's a tax-driven vehicle, so you don't really think about social anything when it comes to this. But we're investing in real estate, and some of the areas in which we're investing are, you know, historically underinvested areas, right? And one of the things that I do not want to happen is for us to make these investments across the country and then start to gentrify these particular areas with like these fancy buildings or whatever it is that we're building, right? And you know, as we were negotiating this deal, we went through all the financial stuff, what have you, and this is like really funny how like companies will react to things like this. In our negotiation, I stuck in one provision. It was like 3 sentences, right? Like stuck it in the middle. Maybe they didn't see it, but they saw it. So it was like 3 sentences. And what we said in our property management agreement, we said, okay, you know, within, you know, a 10-mile radius of any building in which we invest, if you want to be our property manager, you need to employ 40% of the workforce in that building as MWBE, right? And it just didn't say 40%, it had to be 20% M, 20% W, right? Because, you know, like, my view, but I saw this when I was at the city, if you just have blanket MWBE goal, like, the M's always get screwed, right? So I was like, that's not gonna happen. So, you know, we said 20% M, 20% W. And I gotta tell you, like, the CEO called me and was like, whoa, you know, we really believe in this stuff. We have to have the provision in here. It's part, like, you know, it's core value. I mean, the whole thing, right? And he was like, that's great. We're leaving it in, you know? And like, if you want to, like, if you want to do business with us, like, but to me, I'm like, this is how you start to move the needle, right? And this was not even a social impact vehicle, but there are things that you can do to start to move the needle there, right? Because if we think about all the stuff that we read, you know, about and we see on TV, okay, the 1%, almost like 98% of, you know, the money and, you know, globally, and, you know, we see the shrinking middle class, and, you know, there's not too many homes, and there's 6 million homes underbuilt, and the prices are going through the roof, rent, like everything is just bad, right? So it's like, if you're a normal person, like, where are you gonna go? Like, I have no idea. So we wanna try to help with that. And like, that's one way to do